One thing that I get asked about a lot is how to transfer patterns, so I'm just going to go over that with you. I am just going to be using this Hybrid Technica pen by Pentel, size 03. This is my favorite pen to use because it's really fine, so I can just cover the lines. There are heat and water erasable pens out there that you can get for embroidery, so that you can just trace onto the fabric, and then after you either heat it with a blow dryer or spray it with water and the lines will disappear. I don't have any of these on hand because I don't use them, but that is absolutely an option for you. The first thing that you'll want to do is make sure that your fabric is centered. So grab the hoop that you're going to be using, whatever size you've chosen, and center that up in the center of your fabric, and then make sure that it's lined up with the pattern. And once you're happy with the layout of it, you can grab a piece of tape and put it on one side, then get rid of the hoop. And now as we put the second piece of tape down, I like to just sort of flatten it out a little bit so that you don't have any creases. Oh, and I've ironed these sheets beforehand so that they're nice and smooth and flat. If your fabric is not crinkly, you don't have to worry about that, but that is definitely something you can do if you are worried. And then you can just go ahead and trace the pattern if you can see it through here. If you can't see it through your fabric, then you can either use a light box if you have one, or you can hold up the taped sheet to a window. You may want to add another piece of tape or two, but you can hold that right up to the window, and that will allow more light to come through to help you see it. And then you can just go ahead and trace. And these absolutely do not have to be perfect, as they're really just guidelines for your thread. One thing I just want to note is that if you're going to be using a regular pen like I am, one that's not erasable, just before you start using it on your good fabric, check the bleed of it first on the edge, and then you can tell right away if your pen line is going to be too thick or if you're going to get too much bleeding into the rest of your fabric. And you also don't want to be pushing too hard while you're doing this, or it will move your fabric. You may even want to lift up every once in a while and make sort of more like sketch lines. Just find out what works best for you and the pen that you have and the fabric that you're using. There, so that's how you transfer a pattern. And once you're done with that, you can pull this out of here. And to put that into your hoop, you want to unscrew it just enough so that you can take it off. If you unscrew it too much, it will cause bunching as you put it in. So just center your fabric on your inner hoop there. And then you can just gently coax it over top. You want it to be really stretching the fabric as it goes down. And then just before you tighten it again, give a slight tug at all the edges to make sure that you've got it as taut as possible. And then you can just tighten up your hoop the rest of the way. You really want it to be as tight as you can possibly screw it. Some of them are going to do a slightly better job than others, but you really want it to be as tight as possible. And as you're embroidering, if your needle ever pulls through and causes a little dent in your fabric, you can just tug at the edges again to bring it back to its proper state. And once you've got it on there properly, you should be able to hear that it's a little bit like a drum once you're done. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do that to the other design that we have for the next video. So once again, you're going to want to just pull it off. You want to unscrew it just enough to be able to pull it off. And then center it. And then just gently coax your outer hoop on top. And pull at the edges until you're happy with the tension. And then just make sure you've tightened it as much as you can. And there you go.